we can move to you. What have you been playing?
Sure. I have been having my life completely consumed by a little game called Triangle Strategy. Dumb
Hey,
game, cool game. Or dumb name, cool game
dumb name, good game.
is what I
You're a
would like
rapper
to
now.
say.
Let me ask you this: did you play this on the way to Europe on the plane?
So that was the goal. So I got this game the day that I was supposed to be leaving. So on the plane ride, I had a whole 8 hours until I got to my destination. Thought I was going to play this, ended up just watching movies. Throughout the whole trip, basically, I was planning on playing it, but I really only got about like 2, maybe 3 hours because I had to do really dumb touristy stuff and couldn't play video games. So when I got home, I basically started hitting this game running because I had only played about 2 to 3 hours. And from those 2 to 3 hours, I did really enjoy what I got. So, just to give a brief background about the game, this game is basically the spiritual successor to another game called Octopath
Octopath
Traveler,
Traveler.
and more spiritual successor in that it has the same 2D HD art style that they're going for. So it's like a very pixel kind of based game where they're very, very simple 2D sprites, but the game looks gorgeous.
It's a
Just
2.5D.
yeah. So you can explore you're a little pixel guy, pixel girl, classic JRPG kind of structure where you have your classes. But it is in that art style, but at the heart of it, it is a tactics game. So think like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics. It's in that realm. And I would describe the combat as a mix of the two. It's not exactly Fire Emblem, but it's also not exactly Final Fantasy Tactics. So it's somewhere in there where you basically have a mission. You pick all of your units that you want to bring with you. Every single unit is a different character. Every character is a specific class. Like there's no overlays. Like you won't get 2 of the same warrior classes. Like that's not a thing in this game. Everything is different. So basically, from me playing this game just this week, I've amassed about 25 hours playing it because I cannot put it down. It definitely delivers on what I wanted it to be, and I thought that it wouldn't have that great of a story. I was expecting more of what we got from Octopath Traveler, which was not a story at all. This one actually has a story, which is nice. And in its trailers, the premise is that, okay, your choices are supposed to matter in this game. So it's called Triangle Strategy because there are basically different ideals that you take on, and you making choices reflects a certain ideal throughout the game, and you making these
Are there
choices.
3? Are there 3 ideals?
Yes, there are 3 ideals.
Okay.
But so you're making choices all throughout the game, and it's a very Telltale, The Walking Dead game. Their kind of branching storyline, like that's what this game is doing, and it's telling you to make choices, and then based off of your choices, it will branch off into okay, now your story is this, and then it will lead to a certain ending that is unique based off of the choices that you made. And surprisingly, it delivers 100% on that offer, far better than I thought it would, because I'm so used to with games like The Walking Dead, oh, your choices matter. You pick something and then, oh, it ultimately tunnels you into, the
Like the
same
Mass
ending that
Effect
everyone
3,
else.
like Mass Effect 3, where it's
Exactly.
like your choices matter until the end.
Exactly. And so far, that hasn't been the case. And not only that, but so far, each of the choices that I've made, basically, you get to a breaking point and it says, okay, you can make this choice or you can make this choice. And the way that the game presents it is that basically, all right, you are head of this house and you have your certain party members in the house, and it's more democratic. So all of them have a vote in the decision, but you get a chance to persuade every individual person to sway a certain way, and you're trying to convince X amount of people to sway the way that you want, and if you don't, then it goes the other way. So it's a really, really interesting combination of getting you to know getting you to know the specific characters, because each character will have a very specific way that you need to convince them. No one person will be convinced by the same way. And by that, I mean, you might have a spy character. Anna is one of my favorite characters, and she's the spy class. And with her, you have to be very tactical. You have to say things that aren't really pulling at your heartstrings. You have to tell her, okay, this is how we get the advantage on the enemy, the drop on them. But then there will be another character that relies more on empathy and heart, and you can say things related to that in order to gain their favor. And if you don't, then they won't agree with you, and then they'll pick the opposite choice, which will lead you down a whole nother branch. So it's a really, really cool your choices matter kind of branching pathway that I would say really succeeds and really really gets you more involved with the story. And not only that, but the choices are never, oh, clearly this is the option. Like, all the choices really lie in that gray area where you can see, okay, this one makes sense. Oh, but this one also makes sense. And I can't even tell you guys how many times I've been like, okay, I can make this choice, but then what if this happens? Or I can make this choice, but then what will happen to this specific character? And I don't want to risk it. So it really makes you care about the characters more in that way. So that all said, I'm really enjoying it from the story perspective. And from the tactics, all I'll say is that the game is a really great tactics game. Hard mode is more brutal than I thought it would be.
You went straight for hard mode?
Yeah, I love playing games on hard mode. So I'm playing
I do too, but not strategy. Strategy is the one that is the one genre for me where it's like I need to play this on normal at least like for the first couple hours just to kind of get a feel.
Well, this game does something really unexpected, because what it does is that for every battle, so I'm playing this game on hard mode, but you can change the difficulty at any moment. But it also does this thing where if you play a battle and you lose, you will keep all of the experience and all of the basically currency points that you gained by playing that level. So let's say your characters were at level 2, but in the combat, you gain 2 extra levels. If you retry that level, you will be now at level 4 instead of being at level 2. So it's not like you're wasting your time. You're always gaining.
You're always progressing.
That's cool. It's also not like Fire Emblem where there's a permadeath option. Like, you're not risking losing your characters. You're not even risking losing your experience. Like, they reward you for your time that's given to you. So that makes it a little less brutal, but hard mode for sure. I probably repeated a couple battles like 4 or 5 times before I even been able to succeed in them, because they really test like the tactics of a tactics game that this is. But yeah, game is great, combat's great, story is better than I thought it would be. The only thing lacking is some of the characters are a little lacking. Like, some of the characters you get through character side stories, which basically means, okay, they're not a part of the main story, but they can be added to your overall party, and they are selectable, but they won't be in all of the regular story cutscenes. Like, we'll include them only in their special character side story kind of stuff. But aside from that, great game. Love it.
Good to hear. I'm really looking forward to this game since they announced it. I think it has a horrible name, but besides that, I'm glad to hear it's living up to your hype. Do you think this will maybe stay on your game of the year list throughout the year?
Oh, I think it will, especially just because of how
It's your game of the year so far?
I wouldn't say that.
What's your game of the year so far?
He's on Team Horizon.
You
I
know,
think he's on Team Elden Ring.
there's too many games.
Elden
I
Ring?
will. I decline commenting right now on my game of the year.
He's playing politics right now.
Yeah.
I think Triangle Strategy will definitely be up there, like for sure in the top 3. But there's also a lot of really, really great games, and I also haven't finished this game, so we'll see by the end of the year, after everything's come out. We'll see when I finish it if they are able to stick the landing, and if I'm hoping they don't funnel me into like a generic ending, which they haven't done so far. I feel like everything's been very catered toward my choices, my experiences. So if they can keep that up, it might end up on the top. We'll see.
I'm just happy because I think they had a potential 5 out of 5 game with Octopath Traveler that they completely
Just the
messed
story.
up. Yeah, they messed up with
Yep.
how they did that story structure. Besides that game was incredible. Like
Yes.
that game was everything I've wanted from like a modern RPG.
I will say
it
though,
had that horrible story.
yeah, they definitely fixed the story, but the story is for this game is not about your characters per se. It's more about this is like a Game of Thrones type
It
story.
reminded me, the little bit I played in the demo reminded me of Gundam.
Yeah, I could see that. I haven't played too much of Gundam, but from what I do know about it, I mean,
In terms of it's like faction based. It's,
yeah,
you know, like Gundam is very like, I don't remember any characters from Gundam. I remember like the factions.
well, I say Game of Thrones specifically because there's a lot of twists in this game, but there's also a lot of deaths of characters that you don't think there would be. Like they are killing characters off,
man,
like
I love that.
people who you think might be villains, so they're just killing them off, and then like something else happens. So it has like it's a very political drama type of game as opposed to your team has to save the universe, save the world type of RPG. So it's like different in that aspect.
I'm excited. I got it on physical. Can't wait to play it on this OLED. Hopefully, it's one of the games that looks incredible on it. I can't wait.
Yeah, let me know.
I will for sure. You might hear my thoughts next week on it.